I've got breaking news for you. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that the DOJ is investigating Tether, possibly looking to sanction them. However, Tether's CEO comes out saying that's false. I'll share the details with you. And the First University has disclosed that it has invested in Bitcoin ETFs as a former SEC enforcement director comes out criticizing Gary Gensler and the SEC. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, let's quickly look at the DXY and Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now back down to 66. It was making some moves earlier this week as well as earlier today, but it's not able to break through just as yet. And the reason is the DXY, which is at the cusp of breaking down. It is super overbought on the daily RSI, but it just keeps lingering up there and it's going to break down, guys. I know I keep telling you, but this is where we have to be patient. We don't control these things, but we can look at the charts and the fundamentals and the macro and so forth and form our thesis and then be patient to let that thesis play out. So we're waiting for this thing to break down, and this will be the trigger, I think, to help Bitcoin blast through 70K and then move to new all-time highs. So right now, we are still in a waiting pattern. I know a lot of analysts have been saying, hey, this thing's about to move significantly and so on and so forth, but just give it, I think, another few weeks and this thing will start breaking down, especially with the US elections out of the way and that uncertainty out of the way. That should definitely help. One thing that's for sure, the big players continue to buy Bitcoin. Here we got reports that BlackRock's ETF inflows just yesterday was over $165 million. And today it was reported that Fidelity bought 852 Bitcoin. So they continue to accumulate, folks, and it makes sense. Smart money is going to buy the dips, buy the fear, buy the sideways chop where retail is bored, retail is scared, retail is like, oh, I'm done. The bull market's over. I'm out of here. But smart money knows what's coming. They know global liquidity is on the rise. The money printer will be started up back here in the United States. And as the debasement of currency takes place in the US and globally, asset prices will rise. So this is a very positive sign that they continue to buy. And here, guys, we got a report, and this is from an SEC filing, that the first university to report publicly about their Bitcoin ETF ownership, this is Emory University. They filed their 13F. They own $15 million of Bitcoin, or Grayscale's Bitcoin mini trust, as of September 30th. Matthew Siegel of VanEck said, while many universities hold Bitcoin indirectly through funds or have accepted Bitcoin donations, Emory's position in a Bitcoin ETF is a first in higher education. So one of the great benefits of the ETFs, it opens up the door for many different endowments, universities, and different companies to access the asset class safely and without having to worry about regulatory issues. You know, if they were to hold Bitcoin directly on their balance sheet, that may cause some issues. But if they hold it via an ETF, which is on BlackRock, Fidelity, and so forth, it makes it very safe for them to do that. It's less risky, and obviously the ETF wrappers provide a whole bunch of different benefits and insurance and all these things, right? So I think we're going to continue to see more of this, as well as companies adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet. Yesterday, we talked about Microsoft and them looking to do that. And of course, Microsoft shareholders are going to vote on that come December 10th. So it's going to be a very interesting December, folks. Now, check this out, guys. The New York Stock Exchange is looking to extend trading to 22 hours a day, opening at 1:30 a.m. and closing at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. So you may say, why are they looking to do this, right? Well, it's what the story I've been telling you guys for years. The crypto market is 24/7. No holidays, no opening and closing bell, no weekends, and so forth. And when you put traditional assets on the blockchain, it's going to further increase trading activity. Well, they're essentially trying to catch up to what's happening in crypto. That's the only true global market. And it's amazing to see them capitulate in this way. And obviously, it's not fully 24 hours and it's not on weekends, but they're extending it during the weekdays. So very interesting what's happening, guys. This is because of crypto, because they realize that people are trading crypto globally 24/7. It doesn't close. It doesn't stop. And eventually, all the stuff listed on the New York Stock Exchange is going to go on the blockchain. You're going to have fractionalization, like I've been saying, 24/7 trading, truly global markets. So pretty incredible what's happening. Now, quick word from our sponsor, and that is VeChain. VeChain is one of the top layer one enterprise blockchains. Many big brands leverage VeChain to build Web3 and decentralized applications. I'm a VET token holder. I have been for years, so I'm bullish on this project. I believe it will do well in this bull market cycle. Some of the benefits of the VeChain blockchain include it is secure, affordable, scalable, fast, and sustainable. Some of the companies that are working with VeChain include Givenchy, BMW, Walmart China, Boston Consulting Group, PwC, and many more. So if you'd like to learn more about VeChain, go to vchain.org. Link will be in the description. Now, guys, this afternoon, the Wall Street Journal broke the news that federal investigators are probing the cryptocurrency firm Tether. Authorities are looking at possible violations of anti-money laundering and sanction rules. So the Wall Street Journal has a paywall up here, so I can't give you all the details. But let me read what I can see here. The criminal investigation run by the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office is looking at whether the cryptocurrency has been used by third parties for, bad activities and so forth. Now, Tether's CEO, Paolo Ardoino, and if you guys recall, I had him on the podcast earlier this year, he says, as we told the Wall Street Journal, there is no indication that Tether is under investigation. Wall Street Journal is regurgitating old noise, full stop. He also added, at Tether, we deal regularly and directly with law enforcement officials to help prevent rogue nations, terrorists, and criminals from misusing USDT. We would know if we are being investigated as the article falsely claimed. Based on that, we can confirm that the allegations in the article are unequivocally false. Okay, folks, there's a lot of layers to peel back from this onion. I've often stated on the podcast in full transparency with you guys that I believe in the early days, Tether's ship was not in order. Their house was not in order. I don't think they were fully reserved back in the day. And I've interviewed multiple co-founders of Tether, Brock Pierce, and there's another gentleman, I forgot his name. I think actually three co-founders I've interviewed. Paolo is the CEO, and I interviewed him earlier this year. And even he stated that back in the day, things were not in the right place. They didn't do a good job in transparency and so forth. Now, they do quarterly attestations. Cantor Fitzgerald, which is a legacy Wall Street firm, which is headed up by Howard Lutnick, has said they have the reserves and their books are in order. Howard Lutnick, as you guys know, was at the Bitcoin conference. He supports Donald Trump and so forth. So you have some credible people saying their books are in order. So what's happening here? Why are we seeing this continued campaign trying to expose Tether and all that, right? There was even, I think, a couple months ago or during the summer, they put this big ad campaign trying to expose Tether. They did, big billboard ads down in Times Square, New York City, and so forth. And I was like, that just looks really weird. If you have actual information, go to the DOJ, go to the law enforcement. Why are you trying to do some sort of smear campaign? That's how it came off as. And a factor here that we have to keep in mind, Tether's king of the hill. So there's going to be competitors attacking them. And I'm not saying that's wrong. That's the art of war. That's business, right? If you see a weakness in your competition, you try to expose that. I'm about the free market. Now, I don't believe in breaking the law to try to take down your competitors and lying. But if you see there's some ambiguity and so forth, you try to expose that. So I think there's a bit of that. These campaigns, these FUD that comes out every quarter, every month, whatever it is, I've seen it since I've been here in the crypto industry since 2016. So when I see stuff like this, I don't have a hidden agenda trying to promote Tether or trying to hide things that are bad that Tether's doing. I call it like I see it. But we also have to keep things real, right? Competitors are going to try to go after Tether to take them down. The other aspect, and I saw someone tweet about this type of news and so forth is about Tether being more transparent with KYC and AML. It's the Binance situation. Notice Binance didn't go out of business. CZ had to step away. They had to pay a big fine and then come in line with the regulations. I believe that's what's going to happen with Tether. Tether's not going anywhere. They have the largest stablecoin and by market share, and the majority of that is outside the United States. I think what's going to happen, they're going to have to strictly adhere to KYC and AML laws, or they're going to get banned in the United States. I do think they're trying to work through some of these things. And as Paolo says, this report is false. But I think this type of news and this type of dark cloud is going to hang over them until the KYC AML part is fully resolved. We don't have all the details, of course. So I think that's what's going on here, folks. So let's recap. One, bad reputation from the early days, continuing to follow them. Competitors taking shots. That's the free market. And third, the US government and some of these big jurisdictions want Tether to be fully in line with these laws, a la Binance, even though it's a different business. They're not Tether's not an exchange, but the whole thing is KYC AML. Remember, that's what Binance got hit with, not fraud, not that they were stealing customer funds like Sam Bankman-Fried, but hey, you guys were not doing KYC AML. Here's a $4 billion fine and CZ, get the hell out, right? So I think eventually Tether will come into line with whatever they need to do. But be careful when you see stuff like this, because if the DOJ actually had information, I think they would have already taken action, right? Let's be real. I mean, if you went after Binance and you got, whatever it is, they would have gone after Tether. So let's see what comes out. Once again, I'm not saying they're perfect or they're doing everything right. I only know from my own research and people I've interviewed and people I've spoken to and haven't been in the market for a long time. So I have to keep things balanced, and I see it from a more of a 360 view. I don't have an agenda to protect them. I don't have an agenda to try to take them down. I'm just a neutral party reporting the news to you. So that's what I think. I'll try to get Paolo back on the podcast to ask him about this stuff. Like, what's going on? What's going on with KYC AML? What's going on with all these things? Do you think that's why you're getting targeted, right? So I'll keep it real with you guys. And one other factor, and it's not so much the competitor bucket item that I mentioned to you guys, but there are people looking to short Bitcoin or short the crypto industry. And a great way that they do these things to drive fear and sell pressure, plant articles. Right? Once again, if the DOJ has facts and they have stuff against Tether, take action. I want to hear from the DOJ. I don't want to hear sources tell us, right? Who's your sources? The random guy in the street, the short seller who paid you $50,000 for the article? See what I mean? Guys, I've been around the block. I know some of the things that these guys do and planting articles and so forth. So that's my 2 cents on it. I would love to hear what you guys think, of course. Now, check this out. Former SEC enforcement lawyer Layden Stewart talks about her experience being on both sides of the battle between the agency and the crypto industry. So she spoke at Crypto Investor Day, which took place in New York City today. I didn't get to attend that, but here's a quote. When you come to this side and you realize that there are people who really want to find a way to work with regulators, and they feel like that's just not possible given, who is at the helm of the SEC or generally the Biden administration, and it gets in the way of any effort toward reaching some regulatory clarity or anything that allows us to work toward building this industry. Anthony Popliano asked Nelson Mullins' lawyer, Richard Levin, what do you think the most impactful change could be that would unleash innovation, adoption, growth, etc. in America for crypto? Levin said, I would push the SEC to actually comply with the Administrative Procedure Act. Wow. So it's funny when these people leave the SEC, then they're able to speak freely, obviously, and they all come out against the SEC. It's incredible. And this is why it goes back to what I've been saying. The phone call was made to Gary Gensler, and he's running the SEC. So even if these people don't agree with what Gensler is doing, they can't do anything because Gensler, he's the chair, right? And we know he's a scumbag regulator and what he's been up to. So even people that have worked with him and under him are leaving and coming out and saying different things contrary to what he's been doing. It's incredible, but this is where change is coming, the election and much more. And in the courts, the crypto industry is fighting back and getting victories. Now, final news item here, Flare. Many of you know Flare Networks. I hold a Flare token. I currently delegate and continue to earn rewards. Well, they highlighted something today with their Google Cloud partnership. They said introducing Flare's blockchain machine images on Google Cloud Marketplace, enabling rapid deployment of full nodes across 20 plus networks, including Bitcoin and Ethereum, with plans to add more. A scalable and reliable solution designed for developers. So this is really good. And even if you don't hold a Flare token, you're like, hey, I don't care about this news. What you should care about, Google. Google is involved in many different Web3 projects. They're involved with Hedera. They're a governing council member. They're doing a lot, guys. And it's great to see these big tech giants jumping in, and they have to because this is the future, folks. So you're seeing more validation of this technology, and that's why Google, Microsoft, all these big companies are all getting involved. I hope you see that. I hope you don't miss. They're not doing this for fun. They don't want to lose money. They want to make money. They want to continue their market dominance and maintain market share. And they see the technology and the disruption that's happening. So they're trying to adapt to it. Or if they don't, they will have their blockbuster moment. Well, folks, let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. Also, be sure to sign up for my free email newsletter. It's 100% free. It's available on Substack, and link will be in the description. Also, a great way to support me is to grab a copy of my book, Rethinking Crypto. It's available on Amazon in paperback and digital. Buy a copy for yourself or your friends and family. And if you bought a copy already, please leave a rating and review. It will really help out my rankings. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.